Hi everyone, I'm Kevin, and today in this video I want to show you how to support your model in Chitubox. This video is addressed to beginners, to somewhat new to Chitubox. The idea is to understand the basic on how to support your model and have the most success in your print. So let's go. Okay, so here I have imported the model already. So that's Spider-Man from Eastman on my mini factory. I will put the link of the STL in the description below if you want to download it. This model is really great because it's really simple and it's good to understand the basics, so that's why I choose this one. In this video I'm not gonna go over how to open a file, some option in Chitubox. I'm strictly here to show you how to understand the basics of support. So we're gonna jump right into it. These days there is a lot of pre-supported model, which is great for all the new people coming into the hobby. I mean, you can just download and print, that's really nice. But the good thing about 3D printing is you can upscale the model, downscale the models. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is to change the scale of my model. Here I'm on the anycubic photon, so my build plate is pretty small. I'm just gonna have to downside a little bit. I can check here, it's always a good idea to check on the Z-axis. It's going to be around 110 mil, so if you want to make sure you have the right size, check the Z. And after you scaled your model, the first thing you want to do is to rotate and find the angle. So for me, I'm just going to go around like this, for example, and probably around this way. I can go back maybe a bit more. Okay, so why do I choose to angle the model a tiny bit on the back and then on the side? Two reasons. First, it's going to make it a bit easier for you on the support. So what I mean is that you can go straight up with your model, but if you angle a tiny bit back, you're going to have an easier time to put support at the back here or all along the way. And the second tilt on one side is to make sure I have only one point of the model facing at the bottom. So if you take a square, for example a cube, if you just go on one side of the cube, you're gonna have a flat surface on the bottom, but then if you tilt again on the other side, you're just gonna have the tip. And the more tip you have, the better. You want to avoid flat surface and large surface in general. That's why when I angle my model back, I don't go all the way like this, for example. You can think, okay, maybe if I angle more, I will save time because my Z height is gonna be lower and I have a better space to put my support, but you're gonna end up just having bigger cross layer. So if you straight up, if you take the feet here, it's gonna be really tiny, not a lot of tension on the FEP, but the more you incline, the more the line are gonna get bigger and you're gonna have maybe shifting line in your print or even some failure. So that's why a good rule of thumb is to just angle a bit and you're gonna be good. Another good thing about going a bit backward with the model is like you're putting most of the support at the back, which is a bit less annoying if you have some damage. And all the front part is gonna face upward and you're gonna save on support at the front. You're not gonna have to support the face or stuff like this. In this case, the Spider-Man I think is looking down, so this one is a bit of an odd figure, but for the general purpose, everything will face upward and after you understand how to incline your model, let's start with the support. Okay, so here I'm just gonna start straight with my support. So here this one is quite tall, around 11 centimeters, so you can start with some heavy support. And where do you start? Me, I like to start from the bottom going up, just in order to not miss any part of the model. And you're gonna start on the first part, the first tip, which is here. And as you can see, I first angled from the back, which gives me this point here, and then I angle on the other axis, and now I have only one point. If I was staying flat, I would have had 2 points at the same time. It's fine for the feet here, but it's always good to do it. So I start with my heavy support, put one of it here. Then I'm gonna swap on medium. The reason is I don't have to put like 100 of heavy support and I want to stay really close here. The first part of the minis or the figurine that you're gonna print, it's gonna be the anchor point of the model. So right here, you make sure the first start layer are gonna have some really good support and they're gonna be anchored to your build plate. So I'm adding 2 medium support here. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Now we are under the feet, so we can go ham a little bit. We don't have to be crazy clean. This one is a bit of a pain. I'm not gonna bother too much. And here, second part, you have to understand, like the second feet, it's a second model. Like this one and this one, they're separate until they come back to the hips. So I'm just gonna have to do exactly the same thing. I go at the tip, always use the cursor and the line. Here they're showing you the line, so you can see you are at the back of the tip. I'm gonna add a lot more medium here. So I'm exactly doing the same as the other one. And here I have a good base for the start. I know everything's gonna be really well supported right off the bat, and then the one coming after are gonna help a lot. The second thing you want to do, so those support, they're gonna help a lot until maybe the calf here, around the top of the boots maybe. But later on, they're gonna start to fail. Even around the top here, you might get some shifting lines. So you need to follow your model. And that's where the structure of the support are coming into place. And that's why we angle back the model as well. So here I'm just gonna go and follow the model. So that's the idea here. As you can see what I'm doing, I'm not trying to focus any part in particular. I'm not really precise about anything. I'm just trying to add like a scaffolding going along the way. From the bottom here going up. And what I want with those ones is to give like balance to the overall structure of the miniature or the model. And I want to give strength as well. Because every time it's gonna pull on the FEP and the model. And if I don't add support here, a lot of lines are gonna occur or any failure are gonna happen as well. So here I can continue like this all the way up. And as you can see, I still have the same idea of going up and helping the model staying on the build plate and having some strength and balance. You can even go further and add maybe a couple here, a bit like this. Okay, so to recap what I've done, when the print starts right at the tip, I've put an heavy support and then 2 medium support right next to it in order to have a really strong start and make sure nothing fails. Then I added a bunch of medium at the back just to help, because we are under the model, so we can go a little bit ham on the support. And later on, I added the structural medium support along the way. You can always refine the way you put it. Here I'm just going like really quick for the tutorial. There's a bit too much supports and you can probably drag them down a little bit. Make sure they're gonna be easy to take off. But all of this, it's more for like an advanced idea of how to support. Here I'm really trying to make you understand the structure and the strengths of the basics. And that's why you're going along the way and you make sure you support your model. You're not just looking for island. I think everyone always focus, oh, island, I need to support islands with tiny supports and things like this. You need to support the weight, the pull of the FEP on your model first. And then you're gonna get a print what's gonna succeed, and then you can try to refine everything further and further. The second thing to remember is like on a humanoid or anything like this, if you start with 2 feet going like this, they're gonna be separate for a while. So don't start with a lot of support on one hand and then just go a bit more lighter on the second one. They are both each model until they're gonna reach the hips. So make sure you support them nicely and strongly. If you wonder when do you choose between heavy support and medium or even light, it's not the idea on the tutorial here, so I'm not going to tell you too much about it. But if you're doing a miniature from 28 to maybe 50 mil, you won't need heavy support. You can just stick with medium and light. That's kind of a good group to focus on. But then if you go further and bigger, you can start to use some heavy support. Here, as you saw, I only used one at the start. I could probably get away with only medium support, but it's always fine to add a couple heavy if you can at some point. But that part is more like another topic. So let's go back now and try to refine some of the things that I've done and make sure I can print the model. Okay, so here I have a good start. It's a really quick one, but it's a good start on the base. If I'm continuing further, so what do I need to do? Here the 2 arms, they are the same as the legs. They're gonna start and be alone until they reach the shoulders. So I'm gonna have to put some heavy support, maybe like one heavy support at the start and a lot of medium like I've done. So for example here, if I start on the mask, and I have the same ideas as the legs. So I want to make sure everything is supported. Here even more than the legs, because the angle, like we said, the angle of the arm is really low, and I'm gonna have a really big line going across. So here, for example, as you can see, the cross line is really big. And if you don't support along the way, you're gonna be fine, for example, here at the start, but if you avoid a lot of support going after, the FEP is gonna pull down a lot here. And you might have some line just peeling off, maybe the arm is gonna fall off, or you're gonna have some weird line along the way. So that's why you make sure you apply a lot of support all the way here. And I can continue here, here. So for example, something like this, it's really quick and it's not really clean. But in terms of strength, I'm definitely gonna have a good strength. I forgot a couple here. Like right there, I can put the model into the printer and everything's gonna print. But obviously what you need to do at the end is to figure out what kind of island you have. So this model is really simple. There is not a lot of detail, but here under the arms and stuff, there is a lot of things to be supported. So let's do this and try to understand how do you manage island. The good part is to use those lines here. Everything is showing on Chitubox, and when you just go over, you can see here a lot of black parts. So that's alone, that's alone. Those things, they're gonna print without any support. And as you can see here, that's the back of the arm, and all the island and everything, that's what you're doing at the end of the support process. And of course, for a lot of model, like this one is really simple, but a lot of model will have way more details to support at the end. But it's good to understand first the structure of it. So here you can check first, like if you see some of the red part in Chitubox, you go over and you can see here that's quite flat. So you're gonna need to support, same here. Why not? They are not too bad, like those parts, they will print fine, but you can add a support for good measure. Same here, as you can see here, that's an island. If you don't put a support, it's gonna be squish, and you're gonna have some weird shape going on. Same here. I'm going quick here. They are not great support. Don't fool yourself and think, okay, that's how you do it. You should spend a bit more time, make sure you refine, but that's not the point of the tutorial here. It's more like an advanced support tutorial, I think, the island and the tiny support. But what I wanted to do is to show you how to understand the basics and make sure you don't have big failure. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you in those tutorials. Really understand the basics and really structure, strengths, and how do you go on when you start to support your model. Nothing that I've done here is really like a good way to finalize the support. Nothing is finished and nothing is the cleanest. So I might do another part of the tutorial going a bit more advanced and try to show you when you really try to refine your model. But for all the beginners out there who are struggling to understand some of the basic concepts, remember some of the parts of your model are going to be separate, they're going to be alone, so make sure you have good support on them. Make sure you add scaffolding all along the way. If you go a bit overboard, you're going to have more cleanup to do later, but if you just start, maybe it's okay to add a bit more support than you should. But that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something. If you want a part 2, tell me in the comment. I will try to do it for next time. Subscribe for more and see you later. Bye.